Welcome back to the bakery. I am your chief baker, a beacon of light in the dark night. You can call me Bayou City Bright, if you choose to. Today I want to take you guys down a road of nostalgia and talk about something familiar. So I was born in the 80s and I was raised in the 90s. And so like a lot of people in my age bracket, I watched a lot of TV shows, especially on Friday nights. There was a block called TGI Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's funny. You know, whatever you choose to fill in there. So a real popular TV show from the late 80s to early 90s was Family Matters. A lot of families across America watched it, you know, pretty much self-explanatory. And what I wanted to talk about in particular was 3 of my favorite Family Matters moments. Not for any particular reason, but just because this is what we do in the bakery. So all 3 of these moments involve Steve Urkel, one way or another, because he pretty much was the centerpiece of the show from early on. The first moment like that would be season 3, episode 8, which is Making the Team. And the premise of the show, that episode, was that both Steve and Laura were trying out. Laura was trying out for the cheerleading squad, and Steve was trying out for the basketball team. So Laura made it, and Steve was only picked up as the equipment manager. And people didn't respect Laura. The cheerleaders didn't respect Laura because she was a freshman. So she had ideas for new cheers, and the upperclassmen didn't want to listen to her. Steve couldn't get respect as a legitimate basketball player because everybody saw him as a nerd. You know, he was clumsy, he was dorky, all that. So the climax of the episode comes at they're playing a game, and everybody on the team basically gets injured. They're down to like maybe 4 players. And so they're like, we can't get a 5th guy. We got to forfeit the game. And that might affect coach's job. So coach reluctantly puts Steve in because he doesn't have any other options. And Steve gets in the game and he just starts going off. So, you know, he demonstrates his skills, adequately. About the same time, Laura gets up and just decides to do one of her new cheers. And, this is about the time they call a timeout or something like that. And people seem to like it. So later in the game, she does that again, and the other cheerleaders join her. So Laura gets her redemption, and Steve basically ends up being the reason they win the game. So that was one of my favorite Family Matters moments. And part of what's interesting about that, for that time period, I didn't really watch a lot of basketball. So I wasn't super familiar with basketball aside from the idea of putting the ball in the hoop. So I'd never seen like an alley-oop before. So when I saw Steve lobbed to Eddie, I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Do that again. But yeah, so, Steve was vindicated. Laura was vindicated in that episode. And it was an overall happy, good feeling type moment. That's moment number 1. Moment number 2 is season 5, episode 8, which is Dr. Urkel and Mr. Cool. Now, Jaleel White himself said that this is, I believe, his favorite, if not one of his favorite, but I think his favorite episode. So, if you ever followed the show, this is the introduction of Stefan Urkel. So, Steve is known as a dork, a nerd, and he comes up with this elixir that he can drink, which will turn him into a cool person. So he drinks it, he convulses and stuff like that. And then when he's finished with that whole process, he stands up straight, talks with a deeper voice, has a better posture and all that, and he's real smooth. So specifically what I liked about it is there's a part in the episode where there's like a party at the Winslow house and everybody's waiting on Stefan to come. So Stefan shows up and everybody's going crazy over him. He's got this like all white, a jacket and pants and like a black or a gray vest, something like that. And he's wowing everybody. And there's, during the party, he dances with Laura to Babyface's For the Cool in You, which I had never heard the song before. And I was like, oh, this is kind of smooth. So Stefan comes out there hitting his 2-step and do his dance scene and everything. And of course, Laura is just overwhelmed to the point where she kisses him once and then kind of flips out and tries to like kiss him, like swallowing his face. Side note, fun fact. When this episode aired, this is like 95 or something like that. And me and my brother at home, my mom's at home, and there's 2 TVs in the house. So me and my brother are watching in one room. My mom's watching in the other room. And when they get to that kiss, my mom yells from whatever room she's in, change the channel. And we're like, oh, come on, Mom. But of course, we changed the channel all obediently and missed that part for a few seconds or whatever. Come back, I'm like, oh, too late now. And this is in the mid 90s when they're, best case scenario, you had a VCR hooked up to the TV so you could record it and watch it later, but we didn't do that. There was no TiVo or DVR. So you got to wait for a rerun to come around. There wasn't no streaming, none of that. But yeah, that is what it is. But it was an interesting episode. And I still, even now, will watch that episode. And obviously, as an adult, it doesn't give me the same feelings. But it's just interesting to watch. Now, moment number 3 is season 8, episode 9, which is Home Again. So by this point in the Family Matters timeline, Steve has managed to clone himself, which, ridiculous for a sitcom, but whatever. He's cloned himself, and he is turned the clone permanently into Stefan Urkel. But Stefan got like a job modeling in Paris or something like that, so he wasn't present in every episode. So with this episode, he ends up coming back, and New Edition, who at the time had just done they were in the middle of their reunion tour. So at the end of the episode, at the New Edition concert, they surprise Laura basically by bringing Stefan out. So Stefan comes out in the same uniform that New Edition's wearing. And I want to say it was like maroon jackets with like khaki pants or something like that. So he comes out and they're doing Hit Me Off, which is another one of them songs that just had my attention at the time. He comes out with them, dressed like them, doing the choreography, hitting and everything. He might as well have been a member of the group. And again, that stuff was just amazing. So that's my little bit of nostalgia for today. Those 3 moments of Family Matters. And sure, I'd love to hear some feedback from you. What are your favorite Family Matters moments? Children of the 80s and 90s and beyond. So, y'all know how it goes. Break Bread Bro on Twitter. BreakBreadBro.com. Break Bread Bro on Facebook. Break Bread Bro on TikTok. Didn't know that, did you? Now you know. And you can also send me something on Anchor if you want to send me a sound clip or something. But I always love to hear people's feedback. So that's that. Until next time, break bread, have fun, be safe.